Good morning, my name is Gavin and this is House Mercantile, and today I'm going to show you how I built this nesting box for our rabbit. I'll give you some dimensions down low. They are flexible on what you need depending on how big your enclosure is. Let's cut down my 1/2 inch OSB starting with the sides. They are 11 by 19, so we'll cut the 11 first and then the 19 with the sled. Moving on from that, we'll do the top, back, bottom, and front at 11 3/4 wide, and then the top is going to be 13 long, the back 11 as well. The bottom is going to be 20 inches to account for an extra length of the front and the back panels when they get put on, and then the front is just going to be 4 inches. Now I try and cut these all in the same material strips, that way I don't have to keep cutting out the sides. It makes things a lot easier. And I'll give you some more measurements here on a freeze frame in just a minute. These measurements are flexible based on how big your rabbit is and how big your enclosure is that you'll be putting it in. I am using scrap OSB for this, but you could use a full new sheet if you'd like. Cut off the paint strips there. I forgot on one section, so I've got to fix that later, which I'll show you. This is for the top, which is the 13 by 11 3/4. Next, we'll need to cut the angle cuts, and I like to set the pieces in place. That way I can make my marks to where they need to be, and then just use a straight edge to make my hash mark. I'll stack these on my table sled here and clamp them down and cut them both together, just making sure everything's aligned. Try to make the inside the smooth side on this. If you know OSB, it's got two sides, and that just makes it a little bit easier to clean if you need to on the inside. Here is our layout for us. We've got our side one, the top piece, the second side, the back side, and then the front. Here's a still shot of the dimensions for you. The biggest thing to remember is that the bottom piece needs to be whatever length your side is, plus double the material thickness. So I have 1/2 inch OSB, so I need another inch on its length, just in case everything. Finally, let's put it all together. I use this clamp to hold it in place so I can get the front piece on. Just a little bit of glue and some brad nails. I have used other attaching methods. Glue with nails, glue with screws, no glue, nails, screws, whatever works for you. They aren't meant to last forever, but they will last you a few years. We'll attach the side, like I said, try and get the smooth side on the inside. It just makes cleaning up the inside a little bit easier. And we'll get some more nails put in there. I am using Titebond 3, which is a little bit more weather resistant glue. You could also use something like construction adhesive. You can see here where you want that bottom lip, so you can set the back panel on top of it. It just gives it better support, having the whole thing encased and held from the bottom. You can also see where I forgot to cut off the paint lines on my OSB. Ideally, you don't want this because if you're using glue, it really doesn't bond to that. It bonds to the paint and it just doesn't stick. So we'll go ahead and get that cut off at the table saw. Just cutting the blade width off, and that'll actually also give you a good clean surface to glue to, as well as flat surface, all reference the same. Once the top is put on, you're pretty much done. There is one more piece that we like to add to ours, just to help keep the baby bunnies from falling out, especially if there's a lot of them in there. Sometimes they stay attached to mom and she jumps out and it gets pulled with them. And it's just this little scrape plate. I think this one's 1 1/8 inches thick, and we just kind of tack it in there. Sometimes we remove it later on once the bunnies are moving themselves. But there you have it, one rabbit box. Is our finished box in the nest. Again, this time it has been filled and a home has been made. A lot of hard work on her part. And let's see if we can get one out. But they kind of build a nest. And there we have it. Thanks guys. Follow along for more.